Welcome. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and is open to the media and public. Notices were duly posted, and the meeting was advertised in the Hunterdon County Democrat and Courier News. Formal action may be taken. Can I get a roll call, please?
Jared Petrus.
Here.
Ray Egbert.
Here.
Carol Hampel.
Here.
Ron McCallan.
Here.
Andrew Saunders.
Here.
Thomas Wallace.
Here.
Anna Shin.
Here.
Laura Simon.
Here.
One is absent.
Can we stand for the flag salute, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This evening, we have several agenda items under the superintendent's report. We are expecting some students and parents for some student recognitions, and I'm seeing that not everyone is quite here yet. So if it's okay with the board, I'd like to go a little bit out of order and start with Mr. Tumalo, have him do his presentation, and then we'll move on to recognitions of several students. So Mr. Tumalo, I'll turn it.
Someone's here.
Someone might. Is he here? Oh, looks like Mr. Tumalo. Maybe we'll get to you next. Welcome. Come on in. Have a seat. Mrs. Harris, we good? Doreen? Yeah. Okay. This evening, members of the Board of Education were joined by several extraordinary students and some of the efforts that they made over at Reddington Middle School. So I want to highlight a couple of student accomplishments that came to my attention late this summer. First and foremost, we have a young man by the name of Andrew Leibowitz, who had an opportunity to attend the McCalais School in Tennessee over the course of the summer, where he was awarded an opportunity to attend their character leadership camp for academically talented students. From there, he wrote to Mrs. Freeman that he had a fantastic experience. In fact, he writes, it was one of the best experiences of his life. He learned so much, made so many new people, or met so many new people. In addition, we're thrilled to let you know, too, that Mr. Leibowitz also received an opportunity to potentially apply for a scholarship for admission to the McCalais School in Tennessee. So we are absolutely thrilled with this accomplishment, Mr. Leibowitz. This is absolutely wonderful. So on behalf of the Board of Education and everyone here in Reddington School District, we are absolutely thrilled that you had this wonderful opportunity. And we have a little certificate of recognition for you and for all of your accomplishments. We're not done yet. We have a group of 8th graders who are here tonight with us. Andrew Leibowitz, Braden Galloway, Eddie Lau, and Chris Sorreo, who secured an ongoing partnership with the U.S. Department of Agriculture for their FIG investigation. And FIG stands for Fresh Food from Indoor Gardens. So these young men have actually worked on I guess I could call it a prototype of an invention that would allow folks to have indoor gardens, correct? And you have partnered with the U.S. Department of Agriculture in continuing to do research for this prototype that you have that will allow some sustainable farming and food from indoor gardens. This is another extraordinary accomplishment. These young men came to present at our Green Committee meeting, I want to say last May or so, and we actually got to see your FIG invention and your extraordinary presentation. So to Braden, Andrew, Eddie, and Chris, Congratulations on, again, another extraordinary accomplishment in this invention and partnering with the USDA in regards to your continued research. And I hope that this yields something absolutely wonderful for our community. So on behalf of the Board of Education, thank you for all of your hard work. Mrs. Harris, you tell us where to stand.
Great idea, open. Perfect.
I thought the same thing. Great. Conference.
Mrs. Freeman, would you like to, or these guys will just go? Would you like to say anything, Mrs. Freeman?
I find so often these guys have presented more times and probably have a longer CV than I have had in my entire career. So I will let them speak for themselves because they have prepared remarks. And I promise that it is less than 2 minutes, right? One thing, Andrew was also recognized this year as the New Jersey Association of Gifted Children's Middle School Student of the Year. So there's one student picked throughout the state, and we are certainly very proud to have Andrew as that student. And I suspect, we have a good bench for the next couple of years too.
All right, to start, we would like to thank the Board of Education, our principal, Mrs. Moffitt, our GT teacher, and our teachers and our parents for supporting us and giving us opportunities. So our study and work has been FIG, which Dr. Hart has mentioned, fresh food from indoor gardens, and it has been rooted in the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Right? And our project was to address the intersection of food waste, food deserts, climate change, and individual and community resilience.
FIG is a smart indoor and outdoor vertical garden that uses hydroponic and soil-based growth mediums to grow healthy and fresh, nutritious leafy greens. Our goal is to create a regenerative system that helps people grow food more easily while providing them nutrients that we will eventually try to incorporate into our growth system.
So we designed and programmed and tested our invention from scratch. We're still underway in the investigation, and we've worked with a lot of experts from different associations like the USDA, the Smithsonian, Rutgers, and other state and local agencies. And our prototype FIG is actually in the Smithsonian right now. And I also wanted to mention that we have a lot of we have some other team members and multiple arms.
As I'm sure you know, we are the team that worked with the USDA this summer. We conducted a conference call and Q&A session with the USDA with different experts representing them. In a turn, the USDA curated resources specifically for our needs. The USDA youth programs partnered with us to amplify our voice as we all work towards reducing food waste by 2030. They're both federal and state goals. Finally, we would like to thank you again for this recognition.
Investigation that they're working on is a grant-funded investigation that they wrote the
Thank you.
Very impressed.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming. And once again, on behalf of the staff, the administration, the Board of Education, I thank you for your absolutely extraordinary work. I hope I speak for the board in saying we know that you are making us very proud, and we're very happy to call you our Reddington students. So take that and know that you do make us very, very proud. We really appreciate all of your hard work. So thank you once again for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. And if anybody wants to say anything, I'll open up, if that's okay, Mrs. Simon.
Absolutely.
All right, open up to the board. Otherwise.
They're shy.
Yeah, they're equally impressed, trust me.
People don't normally come and visit us.
Yeah.
So I will just say, I'm very impressed with all of you. I think it's a wonderful thing that you've done, and you've accomplished so much. So I'm sure you're going to go on to do great things. And I wish you well. And I'm so thankful that you're here sharing your ideas. So thank you.
Our next item on the superintendent's report is the school climate survey results. Mr. Tumalo will be presenting. Students and families, you're welcome to stay, but if you choose to go and have some ice cream or something like that, don't worry, we won't be offended. And we'll turn it over to Mr. Tumalo next.
Absolutely. Can I go? Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mr. Tumalo.
So thank you for letting me come tonight. I appreciate it. I just wanted to share out our school climate results from last spring. So over the summer, the school counselors and I met to analyze the data and sift through the data. And we came up with a few goals for moving forward that I wanted to share with all of you. So first and foremost, we just wanted to share and let you all know that, as you know, we have an amazing school district that we are part of. We're so proud of our schools. We have amazing teachers, staff, and students. We're really pleased with that. But we do recognize that no matter how great we are, there's always that room for growth, right? And some other things that we've learned along our journey over the summer is it's really difficult to measure an individual's perception, and we recognize that, especially with school climate surveys. Interpretation is very individualized, and it's really hard to remain objective and keep emotions out of it, especially for kids. So this data is still very valuable, and we know that, and we still can learn from it and grow. Just wanted to say that. So the domains of the survey, we did a staff, a student, and parent survey for the whole district. And there are certain domains, the student survey and parent survey are slightly different from the staff. The only addition on the staff survey is there was an administrative support piece. All the rest were pretty much the same. So quickly, I'll just take you through a breakdown of those domains. There's the physical environment that we analyzed and took data on, which is pretty much addresses like the scheduling, the use of the building, attitudes towards the building, teaching and learning. So there were some questions about how teachers felt about their instruction, how students felt about the instruction, general attitude measures. Morale in school community was another domain, and that is taking like pride of place, ownership of the school's central character, as well as all the stakeholders feeling as they belong to the school. There's the parental support and engagement piece. There's also the school safety piece, the physical safety of the building, how students feel and staff feel and parents feel about the safety of the schools. There was an emotional environment piece, which talks about the perceptions of the average student and how that student ought to behave and does behave. It also talks about the general fairness, overall fairness and equity. Student relationships, there was a piece about that and how they relate to each other. The administrative support piece, and just general relationships between parents and staff, staff and staff, parents and students. So there's a domain about that as well. So here's just a quick slide of the number of participants surveyed, and we did recognize that we are looking at ways to make it for next year more equitable in terms of the number of respondents. So we're looking at ways to kind of reach out more. So across the board, we had with the staff, a good number of staff took the survey. So students, it was given to grades 3 to 8. So the kindergarten and first and second weren't surveyed on this. And then of course the parent numbers for each building. So finally, once we sifted through individual buildings and kind of looked at the data, we noticed that there were some very common trends across the board, which was good. Some overall strengths, it's reported out that students, staff, and parents generally feel safe in the schools. So that's a really great thing, because if students don't feel safe, we know that the learning can't take place. So overall, they feel very safe in our schools. The parental support was strong. Staff, students, and parents feel there's a great connection between teachers and parents in general. The physical environment is inviting and comfortable, so that was a strength as well. Also, teaching and learning in general was really strong. We feel that they feel it's reported that there's a strong academic instruction in our district. So some areas of growth that we noticed were code of conduct was an area that kind of came out. And basically what that means is code of conduct in terms of consistency in behavior. And that was reported from staff, students, and parents alike. Particularly with students, we kind of thought maybe we need to explain more about the difference between fairness and equity, really kind of training kids and teaching kids what that means. To help them understand that fair is not always equal, as we know. So we're gonna have more conversations about that, and also code of conduct and dealing with just behavior, looking at behavior in general. Input into day-to-day is another area of growth. We're going to continue with classroom supports in this area as well. Teachers really looked for more support in the area of SEL and school climate and culture. So we're going to look more into that. Providing resources to deal with student behaviors, and we're looking at more restorative practices to do that. We're also going to look at our discipline policies at the middle school specifically, and we're going to look at how what's working and what's not, and how can we address that to make it better, to improve. So we're also looking at strengthening relationships across the board: student to teacher, teacher to student, teacher to administrator, parent to school to student, and more parent school involvement as well. So there's some areas. So moving forward, as I mentioned earlier, we're really looking at this idea of restorative practices in terms of handling behavior and approaching behavior. And one way of doing that, we're looking at how do we handle consequences, and talking about consistent consequences across the board. So building that common language. So we're going to unpack those current methods of dealing with behavior, and one way that we're kind of focusing in on that at RMS specifically in HBS is this idea of connection circles and class meetings. So it's similar to the elementary buildings where we do morning meeting. It just looks different at the upper level. So we're focusing more on how can teachers connect more with students. The middle school, we know the schedule is difficult. They have a lot of students that they see every day, a lot of classes to teach every day. So we're looking at opportunities to allow teachers and give teachers permission to build those relationships. And then once they have those strong relationships, the content will come. That's the goal. And everyone's been very receptive to that. And then finally, I'm working with the school counselors a lot in this work as well. We're asking them to choose 1 to 2 goals that's related to the school survey. And then in the spring, once we give this again, we will look at those particular domains. Did we see growth? So this year was really these particular results we're a baseline, and hopefully we see an increased trend going forward. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Tumalo.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Do any of the members of the board have any questions? Okay, so Mr. Tum,
Well, a couple, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. The parental responses, that was extremely low, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was like almost like we can't count that almost low, in my opinion. I don't know how what was it, Genesis, or how was it broadcasted out?
Several ways. So we did it through Genesis. We had it on our website, on the school website. I think we sent it a few Genesis blasts as well.
it was on our Wednesday. We did one announcement letter, if I remember correctly,
I
Mr.
believe so,
Tumalo, and
yeah.
then we did the Wednesday blast with the building a reminder, take the climate culture survey. We had it available for a week or two, I want to say. And we did it for those 2 Wednesdays. It's a struggle, I mean,
Yeah. We're looking at more opportunities on how we can do that, reach out more.
And then for the other, I think it was area for improvement for the support from the
Sure.
staff, the coach positions, does that kind of fall into that realm of additional support, or?
I'm sorry, say again?
The literacy and math coach positions,
Absolutely, absolutely. That'll help with that as well. Yes.
is that what the staff was kind of looking for, or does it kind of fit in
This
that realm,
was
or?
particularly, I think, in terms of climate and culture, but I think that would definitely support, their needs in terms of delivering instruction. So yes, it's
Okay.
all connected.
and I think too, there's value in that, and this is purely anecdotal, but just anecdotally, I'll let the board know that the information that I've gotten from just talking with staff members and administrators about the support that the new literacy and math coach are providing, that this is a welcome resource for the teachers, that they really appreciate the fact that they have these as resources and they feel more effective as teachers. Again, anecdotal, no data to support that, but we're going to do another climate survey again in the spring. So, we'll see if there's anything to it. Plus, we're continually monitoring how we roll out the coaching positions too. So
Maybe offer the kids incentive to get their parents to respond, like extra recess, extra something. I don't know. Throw the kids incentive in there than to really harass the parents maybe, and that'll maybe help. I know it works on other activities, the kids are, their at least at White House School with the, bringing home the buckets and or returning the buckets from home, basically, the filling and everything. So.
Sure. Yeah, so we are establishing an SEL committee, district committee as well. So maybe we can bring this to the team and discuss some ways to reach out more, get more parent involvement.
Okay.
Mr. Tumalo presented our, the summary version, the high level summary for the board. You'll see that there's a document that gives more detailed level summaries, which will be, made available on our website, for parents or members of the public if they want to see it too. And then they can ask questions of me or Mr. Tumalo if they have any specific questions in the future. So, okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from members of the board?
The only comment I had is when you take the survey, like for me,
Yeah.
I had three schools last year. I had to keep going back and finding the link. So I don't know if you could make like a central page that has, take the survey for 3 bridges. And then at the end of the survey, you can go back to home or something, which is just an administrative kind of comment, but,
Sure.
Yeah.
and I'm probably the minority.
Yeah.
So-
we had everything on one page, but you're right. We didn't have a go back to that home page after it was done. It was sort of like navigate your way back after you're done. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
that.
Thank you, Mr. Tumalo.
My pleasure. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Related, and we'll segue right into strategic planning. Today and yesterday were data collection opportunities for Judy Wilson, our consultant. She's been coming in and having individual and group meetings with board members, administrators, members of the RTEA, members of the HSA. So right now in the process, she has collected her preliminary data through the interviews that she had with you and with other members of the administrative team and HSA and RTEA. And our next step is to develop a survey a different survey. It's going to be not just climate and culture, but in totality, just strategic planning survey for the district for the future. That'll be coming out around October 14th or so. So that's the next step in the process. She does also have another on-site visit in October to interview and have focus sessions with faculty and with groups of students and with the community. So that's all happening October 24th, and we will advertise that again. So that's where we are in the process. Just wanted to provide the board with a quick update. And that is all I have for the superintendent's report.
Okay,
Any
thank you.
questions? Thank you. I'm good.
We're now open to the public, limited to action items on the agenda. Nothing? We didn't have correspondence since the last meeting. Administrative reports, can I get a motion to adopt 1.01 to 1.02?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions on the district goals or board goals? Any changes that you need? No. Can I get a roll call, please?
Jared Beatrice,
Yes.
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes?
Rob McEwen,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
Minutes, can I get a motion to adopt 2.01?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any changes on the minutes?
There's a typo. In present, behind Laura Simon, there's a parentheses for some reason. randomly there.
Okay.
But everything else is fine.
All right. Can I get a roll call, please?
Jared Beatrice,
Abstain.
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes?
Rob McEwen,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes. Finance and facilities, can I get a motion to adopt 3.01 to 3.09?
So move.
Second.
We have a report.
Yes. Committee met on Monday, September 16th. We reviewed the progress of the vestibule doors and the related maglock hardware. There's a potential need for a change order number 6 related to the overtime to install the maglock hardware. There's also a change order number 7. It's a needed for additional security film and labor to install safety film on windows next to pass-through windows. This is an error on the architect's behalf that was missed. Additional cost is approximately $1,600, and the committee is recommending the approval of that change order. There's an after-school activities punch code system. It's going to be planned to be piloted probably at either HBS, White House, or Three Bridges, the smaller schools, just to install a punch code box to allow access to after-school weekend groups. This will allow for oversight and monitoring of community groups to use the school facilities for enhanced security. There is an IET project related to a firewall that's been completed. There's a condensate tank that was needed at Three Bridges has not been received as of yet. It's a custom-made tank, so it's expected to be take some time to receive that. Mr. Race did assure us that the heat could still be turned on in October, even with the current tank, so we should be okay. Maintenance projects, we reviewed at Three Bridges and from an email from an engineering group that the French drain would be the best option to mitigate some drainage issues at Three Bridges parking lot. The committee was recommending to start the project with the Sepio Construction, which has already provided the lowest quote. And then we reviewed other maintenance project lists that's been completed and then ongoing projects, basically painting, carpeting, just minor normal projects. From the 2018-19 capital projects, if you remember, we discussed already the remaining paperwork has been received, so we can close this out. Final documentation was needed from the architect, and actually on the agenda tonight, you'll see we received a nice size credits from that project. The committee reviewed the school safety specialist assignments. We reviewed an overview of the pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes programs related to the Willows at Nelson Street. And let's see, for substitutes and non-regularly employed workers and sick time, we reviewed the district the committee recommend to review the district policy concerning this issue and policy. There is we reviewed a state mandated verification of payroll check distribution language. School districts are basically required every 3 years to verify payroll distribution matches each employee's ID. Mr. Bohm is completing this verification during the school year. And the committee reviewed the recommendation to perform a health dependent verification, and the committee's recommendation is to perform this verification at this time. The rest of the agenda items are normal, except you'll see approval of a nurse agreement for a special needs student, and we're recommending approval of a $205 transfer of Title III funds related to Clinton School District. And the bill list is standard items. Next meeting is scheduled for October 11th. And that's it.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the agenda items or the minutes? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Char Beatrice,
Yes.
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes.
Bob McCallum,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes. Education technology. Can I get a motion to adopt 4.01 to 4.03?
So moved.
Second.
And we have a report.
Yes, we do. We met on September 11th at 8:30 in the morning. We discussed the climate and culture survey. We saw part of the presentation that we all saw earlier in this meeting. Some curriculum revisions. Health grades 6 through 8 was changed a little bit due to the state mandate of financial literacy. And these changes were made to the unit of good personal decisions. So that was the biggest bullet point. Standardized assessment calendar, the current calendar is similar to last year. And the NJSLA has shorter times and less units. Chromebook practices for RMS, we revisited this. The students are allowed to take them home. There's new practices and rules that are going to be enforced stronger and more consistently. We're also looking to ways to protect the Chromebooks from damage in the future. Substitutes training. They created one manual in the district for all substitutes, and they'll be training them possibly in the building. They're trying to work out some logistics. And that's it. Our next meeting is October 2nd.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items?
Just one. For the Chromebooks, is there a high percentage of damage? Is that, we're having problems with that there apparently?
The data that we have, and I can't cite the specific
Yeah.
numbers, but the data that we had was, because our tech department is shared with Tewksbury, was us compared to Tewksbury. And we had higher incidences of damage. And we're looking into better ways to protect the Chromebooks, better ways to monitor them in schools, drop-in clinics and things like that with the technology department. But ultimately, we want them to be available for the children to use and for the students to use during the day and at home if needed. So.
There was also an issue of the training of the technicians, right? Tightening the screws all the way,
Yeah,
which was, so that it didn't have repeat customers.
right. Like just making sure that I guess I would kind of classify it as like appropriately doing the maintenance to ensure that we did what we needed to be done to secure them for the future. Yeah. Mhm. So it's been a tough issue, but we're looking into all possibilities to ensure that students have access to the technology and then we can properly care for them without interruptions to instructional time. And that was the issue. My Chromebook isn't working, go down and go see the tech department, those kinds of things. And then the student's gone for 15 minutes out of class. And, we don't want that. We want them in class learning and using the device.
So along those lines, I was told that they can go down during academic support, and that's the only time that they can go?
Yeah, they have drop-in clinics during academic support. That's when they go. That's one of the things that.
So the whole grade goes?
Well, they have spares in the classroom to use during classes,
Right.
and if too many kids have gone, they're given another time to come back in.
Okay.
It's another I don't know how it's going to work. Our tech department could probably tell us better. It's another avenue to keep kids in class and using the spares in the classroom and not missing class time to have a Chromebook repaired. Now, if it gets to be such a high volume that the tech department is unable to, there's a line in the drop-in clinic or something like that for the repairs, then we'll have to revisit whether or not that's a good practice. Could it also be a deterrent for students? Like, I'm going to take care of my Chromebook because I don't want to have to go visit. I'd rather use my academic support time to get some work done. That's something else that we have to consider too. But yes, something we discussed in the committee.
Okay.
We'll keep monitoring.
Yeah, this is something that is definitely going to keep coming up in ed tech as we move forward. We're keeping a close eye on, is what's happening now working, because what we did in the past wasn't necessarily working as well as we had hoped. So move forward and then assess that, and then just to try to make it, we have new Chromebooks rolling out soon. We don't want to see the same thing happening to the new Chromebooks.
Right.
So now would be the time to start to put the right practices in place, get the right scheduling in for the repairs and everything.
And isn't there an insurance? I don't know if that, like if it's totally destroyed, there's a,
Not
obviously we don't
exactly
want
sure
to,
on that.
what's that?
I'm not exactly sure. I know we pay for it,
Yeah.
before they're able to take it home.
Yeah.
But I haven't needed it. So I don't know what that process looks like.
If I remember correctly, it'll give a student sort of like a bye week, or if it damages once, we're okay, we'll cover it, no big deal. If it happens more than once, then we start to run beyond what the insurance would be able to cover. Yeah. We'll keep you updated.
Any other questions? Can I get a roll call, please?
Char Beatrice,
Yes.
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Ample,
Yes.
Rob McEwen,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes.
Pass.
Personnel. Can I get a motion to adopt 5.01 to 5.08?
So moved.
Second.
And we have a report that was sent out.
Yes. We met on September 17th. We discussed enrollment. The district continues to monitor the new and proposed housing units to be built in town and the potential impact on enrollment in our schools. There will also be a substitute job fair in October that will be advertised. That information is coming forward. Internal personnel issues were discussed, and our next meeting is Tuesday, October 8th.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Char Beatrice,
Yes.
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Ample,
Yes.
Rob McEwen,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes. Communications?
We had a meeting yesterday afternoon, so minutes are not ready, and we'll have first reads for
Okay.
next meeting.
Thank you. Anything for unfinished business? Anything for new business?
School boards? Maybe this is unfinished. School boards? Do we have a final total yet? Just out of curiosity.
I saw names.
Yes, that we have finalized the nights that people are attending and the attendees. The only person that did not get back to me in full that is still debating is Eric Sperling.
Okay. Excellent. Good group going this time.
Nice.
All right. We're now open to the public or off the agenda. Oh, here we go, Wayne.
No, this is easy.
Oh, okay.
So, I just wanted to mention that I just downloaded the full report of Anthony's, and it took almost 7 minutes to download, and I'm sitting here in the building working on Wi-Fi. So
Okay.
you might want to look at breaking that up. It's a PDF file.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of color, a lot of graphics in it, so you might want to look at breaking that up or redesigning it to make it easier to download. The other thing, in Anthony's presentation, and he left before I could ask the question, he mentioned unpacking current practices for, let me bring it back up. He mentioned unpacking current practices for dealing with behavior. I'd like to get a clarification on what he means by unpacking. Unpacking can be to review, unpacking can be to throw out, unpacking can be to improve. And I'm just curious as to which way he was using the word unpacking. And then, you already talked about it, I wanted to encourage, especially the new members, to go down to the school board's conference. Hit the sessions, hit the discussions, hit training sessions. There is a lot to learn down there. And you can fill up a day easy. Leave yourself time to stroll around and digest. I used to try to do 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, or 1 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon of the sessions every time I went. I would try to hit 6 sessions over the 2-day period. So I encourage people to go. It really is beneficial. And you'll meet people from other boards and get new ideas to bring back. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to go, don't you? Sounds like you really
No.
miss it.
I do miss it. I missed it last year and I miss it again this year, but it's just not the cards.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you. Any other comments? All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call?
Beatrice,
Yes.
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes?
Ron McCammon,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Hannah Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes.
I'll email you.